We got 901, Judge.
All right, we'll call this regularly scheduled September 12, 2022 session of fiscal court into order. And as we traditionally do, we'll start out with an invocation from Magistrate Sammons.
Thank you, sir. That's right. Oh, most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gorgeous day that you've given us to do as we may see fit. Lord, may we use it for the benefit of our Lord and also all the citizens of Bolton County and throughout this great land of ours. Lord, we just thank you for our military people throughout the world, and we thank you for their families. And Lord, we just ask you to be with them, because I know my experience has been away from home. Your families grieve as much as you are also. Lord, we just ask you to be also with our first responders. We have a couple of them in the audience today, and we just ask you to be with them, and may their journeys down the road, they'll live taking people to and from hospital, be safe. Lord, we just want to thank you for the many, many blessings that too often we take for granted. Lord, we just ask you to be with this court today. May we handle our business in a proper and business manner. I ask all this in Jesus Christ's precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
And if you'll join me in our pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is the approval of prior meeting minutes, and you have those in your iPads and packets.
Yeah, that's the PDF, the PowerPoint, this one.
I'll make the motion to approve, second.
Okay.
And I do have one correction,
All right.
and that was, I mentioned this to Julie already, for the second set of minutes, the one with the tax rates, I'm listed as being present. I was out of town and not present for that meeting.
Okay. All right. And the motion made to approve the minutes was made by Magistrate K, wasn't seconded by Magistrate K. We do have one exception and a correction that needs to be made on that, and that's been addressed, and that will be forthcoming. Does anybody have anything else? If not, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Thank you. All right. Mariah, you're up, and thank you for being here this morning.
Yes. Couple things. I'm going to, so this has been added to your Google Drive, but I have a couple copies here if you want to share. I just made enough to share, that's okay. So these are transfers that were added this morning, as well as one invoice. So they'll be added to the totals for the bills. So our bill total is $3,057,371.78. Oh, wait, sorry, that was before this last invoice was added. $3,058,771.78. And so, and I don't know if you all got to see this new pretty report from our software. I think it's really great. So, and I did bring some purchase order examples too, if you all wanted to see.
Great,
I
sure.
want to pass those down just so you can see. They look a lot better than our last purchase
The
orders.
conversion is complete.
There's still some things getting worked out. We're in that transition period. So,
I move we approve the bills as presented.
Second.
I move the bills approved as presented.
All right, motion made to approve the bills as presented by Magistrate Gay. Is there a second by Magistrate Short? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. Now, I love this new format. I think everybody will.
it's a lot easier to read.
It's a lot easier to read. It's much more detailed with information, and this is really a good step forward. This is the Springbrook.
Well, now's a good time to mention the hard work that the staff's put into
Darlene
this.
and Mariah and others.
I've come in and just they're working away, trying to get this conversion done while doing their normal job. So thank you all for your hard work on this.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. All right. next we have Darlene with some budget transfers.
Okay. And budget transfers, sorry, I had to work a little bit late on this because the Springbrook software is we're still learning. But the total on those were $17,201.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve made by Magistrate Cohen and seconded by Magistrate Sammons to approve the budget transfers. Are there any questions on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. The next, cash transfers.
On the cash transfers, they actually are on the, listed also on the paperwork that Mariah gave you, so that she could show you kind of what those would all look like. But they total $453,126.80.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion to approve made by Magistrate Cohen, seconded by Magistrate Short. Is there any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, it looks like it's up to me now. So, gentlemen, what we've had is discussion over a long period of time on how we want to proceed with economic development in this area and in this county. And I would open up the floor for a discussion on the Danville, I think it's Danville Boyle County Economic Development Corporation, in consideration of discussion about us becoming a participant and member of that organization. Is there anybody that'd like to,
I'll make that motion.
that we do become a
Yes.
member?
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to become a member of, it's a long acronym, but the Danville Boyle County Economic Development Corporation was made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Kaywood. So, comments or discussions?
Judge, I'm the one guy here at this table who's worn 3 hats. As a magistrate, as a voting member of the now going out Economic Development Partnership, and as a committee member of the Bylaws Committee working to make this transition. I don't think it's a secret to anybody around the table that 2 of us here in particular were called on the carpet 2.5 years ago when we examined the performance of the old EDP. And I know that people are saying don't look backward, but I think we have to, because we're going to be committing, if we vote favorably, a very significant amount of taxpayer dollars to the continuance of the concept of economic development, but prayerfully in an entirely new fashion that will be and accrue to the benefit of the public. In this transition, obviously I no longer am a board member because the EDP will be transitioning out. And I know that there's been discussion about who we might appoint if this is voted upon favorably. And my colleague to my right and I are the ones who have been the most tenacious in expressing concerns about past taxpayer dollars being spent. And in this transition, I will be at the appropriate time saying that we should nominate Magistrate Cullen to move forward with an eye for performance and most of all the best use of our taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Just a quick point of clarity. The actual name, and I don't know exactly why this came about, is Danville Boyle County Development Corporation. The name economic is actually
It's
not
out.
part of the new
All right.
bylaws.
For the record, let it reflect that economic is not part of the title of it.
And I'm here to answer any questions you might have, if any, or if I can.
I'll just make a quick comment. After, excuse me, a lot of time, a lot of discussion,
I think we are making every effort to bring the effort of economic development and improving the quality of life up in Boyle County. Things are not the same as they were 12 to 15 years ago when all of this started, and now I think we're bringing it up to date, and the nice thing is, we're going to review it in 2 years and see where we need to tweak it. I think that's a critical part of this effort. But at least we've recognized that things need to change. Has been preached by Magistrate Ellis for several years now. He's made a point, and we're making that change, so it's a good thing. I think first we should rejoin, if it's with you, Judge, okay, and then we'll appoint a person to represent us on this committee. So.
Judge, I'd like to make one point. David Williams has been an extraordinary citizen member of EDP and the appointee from Fiscal Court. I can't tell you the numbers of hours that I personally spent with him with respect to EDP on behalf of the entire Boyle County population, and I don't know whether he will be considered in terms of the future, but we owe him a huge debt of credit for what he has added away from his time as an exceptional businessman in this community.
Well, I agree 100%. He's been a tremendous participant in this entire process for as long as he's been on board.
Thank you.
We have a motion before us, and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion as presented, with the term economic taken out of the name of the corporation, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and motion carries unanimously. Terry.
Thanks very much. One thing I would say, this is kind of a new chapter, and this sounds funny to say it this way, but it's a starting point because we now know what the board structure looks like, and the actual transition work begins. So thank you very much. I think we're all going to do great things.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, Terry. Next is we need a representative that this group approves of and appoints to represent us along with me on this development corporation.
Judge, I would nominate my colleague to my right, Magistrate Cullen.
Second.
All right, we have a nomination of Magistrate Cullen to be the representative to the Development Corporation. That's been seconded. It was made by Magistrate Ellis and seconded by Magistrate Gay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any discussion, statements that would like to be made on behalf of Magistrate Cullen?
Do you want to fulfill this job?
I do.
Okay.
I think
That's it right there. I mean,
Okay.
if you don't want to do it, then we got to go somewhere else.
I think as
I would
long as
just
I've
say-
been, I think, you know, put your money where your mouth is, so I'm happy to assist.
I would just like to say that Magistrate Cullen's business experience will accrue to the great benefit of our community.
All right. Appreciate that. Appreciate that nomination. We'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Magistrate Cullen being the county's representative along with the judge executive on the Development Corporation, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. All right. Next, I have a temporary promotion that I'd like to request of the court. Many of you know that my executive assistant, Missy Galloway, has been on medical leave for a period of time. And during that absence, Mariah King has stepped up to the plate in a huge way and has done a absolutely sterling job of filling in for Missy, and I would like to recommend it for a temporary bump in her salary until such time that there is a permanent replacement or Missy returns, which need to inform the court that I've been informed by Missy that she will not be coming back because of health reasons, and we all will miss her greatly. So, but until that position is refilled with a permanent person, I would like to request a 10% salary bump to Mariah King effective the 15th of August, because that's when she started, about when she started her duties that she has performed expertly.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion to approve the request for a 10% bump back to 15 August. That's made by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Gay. Is there any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. I know that this court, in their love and affection for Missy, will like to express their appreciation for all she's done.
Amen.
Amen.
All right.
It'd be hard to replace. She's such a efficient.
A dynamo.
Yeah.
What will be the process going forward to replace her?
I'm not sure how to answer that, John, right now, because we will, at some point in time, right now, if it's okay with the court, I'm comfortable with the situation exists, because I feel like all that's being done, needs to be done, is being done. And I don't know how I want to proceed on that right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm just not sure. This is a piece about her not coming back is pretty fresh in my
And I understand that, but we need people in there to welcome the public.
Absolutely.
So,
and Mariah can do that for a period of time, yes.
well, she likes to go to lunch, I'm sure, and, you know, you gotta have so many people in there, and I understand. And once again, I will offer myself, if you want me to come and sit for a while, and Phil probably will too, because he did last time, so.
Yeah.
If we can help, let us know.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next we have Kendall Clinton from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Kendall, you're up. Thank you, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
I started back in December, so this all kind of predated me, but I have economic impact numbers for tourism statewide and for Boyle County for 2021, and it looks good. Of course, 2020 was a bad year around the state, but 2019 was kind of the benchmark we're going by, and in most categories we met or exceeded 2019 numbers in 2021.
Great.
What the data showed is that there was an uptick in state and local tourism taxes, which were $5.6 million in 2021. That was up from $5.09 million in 2019 here in Boyle County. That increase was the result of an increase in overall tourism spending, which for 2021 was $71.93 million in 2021. And that was up from $67.42 million in 2019. So good results in 2021. Jobs were down a little bit. I think that was the result of difficulty in finding people to fill these jobs. But there were 628 tourism dependent jobs in 2021. In 2019, there were 644, so we're down about 16 jobs last year. Those 628 jobs we did have supported tourism by generating $16 million in labor income, which was also slightly down just due to fewer people filling those jobs. But definitely better than the numbers for 2020, which I don't think state tourism even did a survey in 2020, just due to the fact that they knew the results wouldn't be good. But from all indications so far this year, room occupancy is high. We've had good turnout at events, so I think when the numbers come out for 2022, we should easily exceed the numbers we have here for 2021. So some of the things we're doing right now to keep those visitor numbers up are, obviously advertising and marketing. Big thing coming up is the Perryville Battlefield anniversary.
Thank you.
We've done quite a bit there. We've got ads in Kentucky Living and the Kentucky Monthly, as well as Preservation Magazine. We've got an ongoing Facebook ad campaign right now that I checked this morning. It's already been shared over 400 times. Most of that's targeting people outside this area, outside the state. So hoping that it has a good impact and see a big turnout there. September is also National Bourbon Heritage Month, so we've been spending a little bit of effort there to promote Danville as a destination, not only for the distillery, but also to come into town and enjoy bourbon at the restaurants and night spots. So we've got ads, email campaign going with Kentucky Department of Tourism, streaming ad campaign on Spectrum. We got ads in Ohio Magazine, Indianapolis Monthly, Long Weekends, Kentucky Monthly, Kentucky Group Travel Leader, all promoting Bourbon Heritage Month and celebrating that here in Danville. And we've also got a full-page ad in Bourbon Country Guide, which is a magazine that's promoted along the Bourbon Trail at hotels and distilleries. And it comes out for one issue a year, and we'll be in that year-round. It's a nice full-page ad that highlights Danville and Boyle County. Along with our advertising and marketing efforts, we've been involved with a lot of the activities going on. We were at the Norton Center for Deaf Festival all day promoting Danville and Boyle County. We had a presence at the Gold Wing event they had at the showroom. They were real happy with Danville. They've already signed a contract with the showroom to come back next year, have another event there. And we've been involved with planning for the Bourbon Chase coming up. That's our next big event, really. We're going to have about 4,500 runners who will be in downtown Danville on the night of September the 30th. We've already got a pretty good plan in place for what we're going to do that night. But we like locals to come down and interact with the runners, greet them. This is a great chance for us to showcase our community and show them how welcome we are. And hopefully they'll come back, because they're only going to be down there for a couple hours. They don't really get to see Danville except for downtown, and they just keep on running. But in the past, I've heard stories of people who came to the Bourbon Chase, saw Danville, and they ended up coming back to vacation, and a few people even moved here because they were impressed with what they saw. So,
Gonna have any bands or anything?
we got a
Music?
DJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's always been a big draw. They've always liked to come to West River Park here and have the DJ or bands or whatever playing. So
Yeah, we'll have a DJ. We'll have Main Street closed off from 4th down to 2nd. We'll have some food trucks on the far end, tables set up. Working on hopefully getting the center cheerleaders to stand on the steps of City Hall to cheer the runners as they come into town. Some games on the street, barrel rolling, that kind of stuff.
Will EMS be on standby down here? Will
Uh,
they have a truck down here?
They'll be aware of it. The Bourbon Chase provides their own medics. So
Oh, do they?
they'll have an EMS tent set up.
There'll be somebody in case somebody needs.
Right,
help.
right.
Okay.
And how many local restaurants are staying open, do you know?
Part of Danville's working on that. We'll have a list that we'll provide to Ragnar, and they'll have, the runners will have an app they can look at and see what's going on. So we'll provide that to them, and then we'll have our CDB tent set up with as an information booth, and we'll provide handouts to them if they're asking, for restaurant recommendations. But we're encouraging everybody to stay open late and be prepared for a big crowd.
Okay.
And I have an opportunity to welcome those that are be here in the county.
Yeah, DJ will be set up, I think, starting around 6. We're expecting the first actual runners to get in town about 8. The vans will start showing up around 2:30 or so. So we'll have people in town all afternoon, but the first actual runners coming in will probably be about 8 o'clock. The highest number of people should be between 8 and 11.
Okay.
So if you want to come out sometime after 8 o'clock,
Okay.
that'll be a good time.
Judge, will you and the mayor maybe be just welcoming?
That's what our plans we've talked about,
Good.
Mike and I have talked about yesterday.
And
I
he's
would
actually,
hope-
he's going to be out of town that night, so
Is
he's
he?
not going to be able to.
Okay, well, I'll be there.
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
You still running in it?
Yes.
Number 2. Is there a betting window to bet on you?
Just, you could bet I'll finish.
Might be crawling.
Well, hopefully they have all the sidewalk stuff done and all the stuff done.
I hope so. I thank you, is that it?
That's it.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate the information.
If I may, please. it used to be, and I don't know if this is possible or not, but it used to be, we used to get about every quarter the minutes of your committee meetings, as well as P&Ls and balance sheets and things like that. I found it helpful and informative. I don't know if that's possible to bring back or not. I'll leave that up to you, but I'm just letting you know that was, I thought, helpful to know. It really gives you a read of how things are going.
Okay.
The other thing I kind of look for is the information out of Bluegrass Ad on tourism at the end of the year, which we looked at last year some, and I found helpful, whether we're going in the right direction. We were ranked 4th within Bluegrass Ad of the 17 counties, 4th out of 17, which isn't bad. And but it allows us to have a focus on that particular area. I kind of think, serving on the authority, I would like to think the authority would take a close look to maybe helping tourism to be aware that it's an opportunity and what you're making out of the bourbon chase. That sounds very, very good what you're doing there, and we're taking advantage of an opportunity, and we've always got to take advantage of opportunities. The other thing, do you all have anything to do with the gift shop? What role do you have?
The gift shop is basically operated by the McDowell House.
Okay.
They have an employee who works Monday, Tuesday. We have an employee who works there Wednesday through Saturday.
Right.
But the merchandise and the operation is pretty much overseen by the McDowell House. Our employee's there to help out, but also to greet, they're our frontline people when visitors come in. So
I have, and I've gone in there and talked to Steve a little bit, and I don't think there's and Steve's a great guy, don't misunderstand what I'm gonna say. I think he does a wonderful job, and I've seen him work with people who come in, and it's very good. There's not a lot of inventory to do a lot of business. I think we would all agree with that. Would you?
yeah.
How do we build that to where, I don't even think it's breaking even. I've never seen figures on it, but
Probably not.
I would say it's probably a losing proposition. How do we turn that around? And I know it's
Yeah.
not your role, okay,
Yeah.
I understand that, but your suggestion is because you're close to that industry, so.
Yeah,
how
I
do we
do think the inventory needs to be updated. But again, that's, it's operated by the McDowell House. All the revenue goes to them. They take care of that, so it'll be something that
But
would
it's
have to be worked on with them.
Would that be something you discuss with them? Would
I can
you like
talk
to
to
do
them about
that? Would it be a good direction to go?
Yeah.
It says something about maybe how we feel about what we have available to tourists who come in. I think we can do better.
Oh, I agree.
With no disrespect to anyone, but I think we can do better.
Yeah.
And at least pay its expenses, because I doubt if it is. And it's not because the people don't try it down there. They just don't, you gotta give something to work with.
Mhm.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Kendall, appreciate you. Good report. Next, we have a representative from CJ May Development to discuss with us an agreement on a development that is potentially on the bypass here in Boyle County. So, gentlemen, floor will be yours.
Hold on, I'm trying to get this back.
One more over,
timed
I
out.
think, Jason.
Okay.
I think it's the next one, it says PC.
No signal.
I'm asking Bill now.
Okay.
He might be listening, who knows?
Tell you a little interesting sidebar note while we're waiting this to get caught up. I went over, now a couple of weeks ago and met with Mr. CJ May over in City Hall. We had a working relationship probably 40 plus years ago where we both worked for Commonwealth Development Corporation in Oldham County, and I was a shopping center leasing agent. and he remembered me from working with a gentleman by the name of John Waits and Todd Hollenbeck and some others there. So I have, thought y'all might newsflash that I had an economic development background, putting the shopping centers in places like Manchester, Jackson, Kentucky, Smyrna, Tennessee, and Hazard.
Nice.
It's a small world.
It is.
We got it back up and running, so I'll try to run through this without getting taking up too much time or getting too far
And this
down into the
is
weeds.
Casey.
Yeah, so I'm Casey Bolton. I'm a partner at Commonwealth Economics. We're a municipal advisory firm. We're based out of Lexington, but we cover pretty much all of the state and a little bit outside of the state as well. We advise communities, municipalities, universities on development, and also assist private developers with trying to pull projects off generally that have some sort of hurdle that they're trying to get over, and usually that requires some form of public-private partnership. So if you hear that phrase, that's kind of where we hang out, is in between public and private sector, and try to get projects built and put together. So I'll just kind of run you through this project real quick. I don't know who's got the clicker, but kind of go to the first slide. So you're probably all familiar with the project site out there next to Lowe's. CJ has owned this property for I think about 25 years. He's been trying to get something done with it. There are just a couple of hurdles. The site has some grading issues and some access issues that's caused some problems in getting the project built. But he has invested a little bit in the property recently, and he does have some targeted tenants for the site that they're just a little bit apart on the numbers, and so what we're going to talk about today is a way to kind of bridge that gap. We can go to the next one. Here's a close-up of the site, the intended layout. You can see there are a couple of out parcels and then some adjacent larger retail-focused tenants that he has in mind there closer towards the Lowe's site. You can see some of the ingress and egress that needs to be developed there that he'll be doing.
So the bypass is on the left-hand side?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. And Lowe's would be over off the screen. So that's sort of the intended layout. He's been speaking with a few targeted tenants that would kind of kickstart the project. You might hear them referred to as an anchored tenant, that really, if you can get those tenants in, the rest follow. And two of the major tenants would be new to the community, and then another would be a hotel user. And so we'll kind of run through the intended square footage on the next slide. It would be a fast casual and a sit-down restaurant. There's a little over $2 million of infrastructure that needs to go into the site still. He's got a targeted tenant that's a large-scale retailer that would be new to the market, and some small-scale retail that would support that, and then a hotel is on the plans as well that would be about 100 rooms. So overall, it's about a $35 million investment. And what we've got here, we run a lot of impact numbers. It's always important to know what project means to the community. So based on that $35 million build out and some of those operational impacts from the hotel, the retail, the restaurant tenants, we've estimated what that means in terms of one-time impact from construction. It would support a little over 370 jobs with about $16 million of wages here at the site. Obviously, that generates and translates to some county and city occupational taxes just from the construction alone. That would be a little over $200,000 back to the county, a little over $300,000 back to the city. And then once the project's actually built out and up and running, we've looked at what that means in terms of output is a big number over a 30-year period, but really I think what's more important to consider is what that means in terms of jobs. We estimate that this project alone would support a little over 240 jobs within the community, a little over $240 million in wages over a 30-year period. And what that translates to, being the fiscal court, I think it's important to think about that in terms of dollars. So the county property and occupational taxes over that 30-year period would be about $4 million just to the county. Obviously, there's about $6 million that goes back to the city. And then school property taxes would be about $9.6 million, and the other taxing districts about $6.5 million. That's all over a 30-year period. I know those are a lot of numbers to throw at you, but we'll kind of come back to that. What we are proposing in order to help fill some of that financing gap is the use of industrial revenue bonds. I know Judge Hunt gave a little bit of an overview to you a couple of weeks ago as to what that means, and Jim Parsons can answer a lot of the technical legal details on it, but in summary, it's a mechanism that allows the property to come off of the tax rolls and become tax exempt for real property taxing purposes. Technically what happens is the property becomes held and owned by the city. The city has agreed to participate in this. They own the property and lease it back to the developer for as long as the bonds are outstanding, which would be a 30-year period here. And for that period in time, the property is tax exempt. It doesn't owe any property taxes. What we do negotiate as a part of this process, however, is what's called a pilot agreement, a payment in lieu of taxes agreement. And so really what you end up with is a reduced tax rate rather than no tax rate. What we've proposed here would mimic a lot of other incentive deals in the state. It would pay a 20% pilot based on whatever the property is valued at. So the PVA continues to value the property as investments are made. Its fair cash value goes up, and then the pilot payment would be based on a percentage of that amount. We also have agreed to pay 100% of what the property is currently generating. So really what you're talking about is a 20% payment on the increase, and the property would continue to pay 100% to all the taxing districts what it is currently generating. Here are the numbers broken out. Again, we've looked at the pilot payments to the county would be 20%, the city and all the other taxing districts would be 20%. The schools, we have agreed to give them a 50% payment in lieu of taxes, so they would still be benefiting pretty significantly.
Are they in the discussion loop now?
Yeah. They have been. We will be going to them for approval of the pilot agreement as well. We've met with everybody at this point, and on the surface they're agreeable to it, but we just haven't had a vote at that level yet.
Question, Casey, can you send the PowerPoint to Julie
Yes,
Wagner?
yes,
so
we
can
will.
all
Yes,
have
I
it?
thought she had it already, but yes,
Okay.
we'll be sure to
Okay,
get
thank
that
you.
to you for reference. But you can see sort of on the top line, we've looked at just the property taxes at 100%, and then we've looked at the pilot at 20% to the city, county, and other taxing districts, and then 50% to the schools. You get a little over about $9.5 million in property tax abated for the project. What that means in terms of present value, roughly you could say that's about half of that. So it's about a $4.5 million incentive to the project in terms of present dollars that helps that project move forward. Obviously, there are still occupational taxes that will be generated. So when you think about, there's a lot of information here, but I think the most important thing for you all to consider is what this means as a net gain to the county. We've looked at it from that perspective, and to the county, it's still a net gain of about $3.2 million over that period. So it's a way for the county to incentivize a project that's been sitting there for 25 years with nothing run on it, and it's a way for you all to incentivize that, get some new retailers and business operations within the county, and still have a pretty significant increase each year to your bottom line. Obviously, there's some net gain to the schools and city as well. Schools would stand to gain about $4.8 million based on these projections. The city would gain about $5 million, and the other taxing districts about $0.6. With the hotel in there, we've projected that also means about $3.6 million in local transient taxes. So a little bit of ammo for you to work with there from some of the things we talked about earlier today. There are also other taxes that will still be generated by the property, tangible tax, utility taxes, anything like that. All still flow as normal. Really all you're talking about is a reduced real property tax as a part of this incentive. As I mentioned, and Jim can kind of get into the details, the city has already issued or authorized the issuance of the bonds subject to approval of the pilot agreement by the county and the school district. So this is sort of where we are in the process. We'll also then need to go before the state to get their approval as well. But I'll let Jim kind of answer any of the legal questions. I'll answer any of the economic questions or questions about the project. Jim, if you have anything you want to add on before you.
Yeah, I'm Jim Parsons. I'm actually special counsel of the city of Danville in this deal. I do not represent the developer, and I'm acting as bond counsel in this particular transaction. My area of practice, quite frankly, is almost exclusively in the area of economic development, either TIF, industrial revenue bond financing, tax credits, whatever, in that situation. Industrial revenue bonds is one of the few tools that local governments have to incentivize the development here. In this case, the city of Danville will be the bond issuer. The involvement with the county, and it's a very important involvement though, is your participation as a signatory to the pilot agreement. The city, county, and school district are critical to the pilot agreement being executed because there is another layer of approval that we need to go through. And there are certain industrial revenue bonds, and this would included to that, must have approval of the state local debt officer, not to issue the bonds, but the right to issue the bonds. And in that case, it's basically just a statutory setup so that the critical issue and the main question they ask is the city, county, and school district on board? It's a pretty easy process to go through, but you have to have their approvals or you can't get the state local debt officer approval. Once that process is done, then eventually when the project financing is put together, we will then come back to the city of Danville and they will issue the bonds. And at that point, the bond transaction will close, title will be transferred to the city and then leased back to the developer. One point about the bonds, because on this, is these are bonds issued by a local government, in this case the city of Danville, but the city or any of the participating taxing districts have absolutely no responsibility for their payment. It's not really considered the debt. It shows up on the financial statements of the city that they will report it as conduit debt, but it's not. They're not responsible, and statutorily they can't cover any part of the cost of the debt. So it's totally responsible, and the property and the developer has responsibility for repaying this debt on the bond. So I'll be glad to answer any other questions you might have. Yes, sir.
Does this cause any issues if the county were needing to go and issue a muni or something like that for any?
Not at all. It's not. It doesn't even show up as a debt. For instance, certain types of it doesn't. These are taxable bonds. It's not taxable debt. The only county participation is participating on the pilot. The actual issuer is the city. But even the city, so it won't affect your ability to affect anything. It won't go against your debt capacity. It won't go against the city's debt capacity under the Constitution. These don't qualify as what we call bank qualified debt. So, for instance, if the city decided to issue its own debt and wanted to issue that as bank qualified, as long as it was under $10 million for the year, it could still issue bank qualified debt. These are kind of off the book kind of transactions. They're reported on the financial statement. They're reported to the Department for Local Government as outstanding debt, but they're simply not the debt of the city of Danville or the county.
And what we're foregoing is property taxes, is essentially what the county is going to be losing with the gain of occupational tax.
That is correct. You're giving up, basically you're getting 100% based upon the current value, which is $675,000. That will continue during the entire term. And what you're giving up is 80% of the increased value over that $675,000 value.
All right. And then the IRB, instead of like a TIF, you mentioned TIF.
It's very similar to TIF, but if it is more of an indirect way of getting there. But we're not planning on doing any TIF on this one, so it won't affect any of the occupational taxes generated from the project. Those would still flow to the taxing district. There's no pledge of any of those revenues, and the city is not anticipating pledging any city payroll taxes either. The other side, to the extent, and Casey mentioned this, from the local taxing districts, to the extent there's any tangible taxes or other taxes they would otherwise get, and this would probably generate a pretty good amount of tangible based upon this type of project. None of those will be impacted by the industrial revenue bonds. They're not impacted. The school system gets another benefit too, because because of the state seek funding formula and how that works. Even though they're giving up 50% over that base, their net impact would be pretty negligible, only because if it was on the tax rolls, the local funds would go up, but they would actually lose some state support. So most school districts can give up some amount and not have any negative net loss at all.
This question might be more tuned to you, sir. As you're phasing things in, what level of occupancy might there be within a year, within 2 years, as opposed to the run out of everything being leased out and everything being open on that plot of ground?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, CJ May is who will be in charge of kind of seeing this happen. I know he has one anchor tenant that is ready to go pending this approval, and he really feels once they get that tenant in, the rest will kind of snowball off of that. So
I would say fairly quickly, knowing what I know that I really can't talk about, I think the potential for a quick rollout of the entire facility, it might not be the month of opening day of the anchor, but I think it will go pretty quick, I believe.
I guess
go ahead.
I guess the major thing is you said there's grading issues, and so there's going to have to be some more work done to the land.
Yes.
They'll have a little bit of infrastructure work to do, some access work that has to be done. So, I mean, all of that I think can happen fairly quickly once they get going. The question just sort of becomes, can they get the tenants that they want, and how quickly can they get those designs agreed to and get them up and running. The great thing about the IRB and even TIF, depending on how it's structured, is nobody's coming out of pocket from the city or county or school district if the project never gets built. You think about what are we at risk for? If the project never happens, property continues to pay property tax as it is, and the only thing that you all are out is sort of the time that you've spent listening to us. But I think that's a great way to think about it as well, is you're incentivizing the private developer to do everything, you're giving him the tools to get it done. But if for some reason he stumbles or the market tanks or anything like that, nobody's left holding the bag other than the private.
Are the old pipelines, some of which are 80 years old, any kind of an impediment, or did they go across this property?
I haven't heard that mentioned as a specific impediment. That'd be a better question for him. I just know that one of the major issues has been ingress and egress and trying to get some of that roadway built.
They were a big consideration on other places, just going towards Stanford. So that's something that needs to be looked at.
He may have an idea of that. I know they did the Lowe's right there.
Yeah.
Was that 20 years ago maybe? So he ought to have a pretty good idea of what the site has going on it. But I haven't heard him mention that as an issue, so I don't think
You're talking about a hotel and a restaurant. Have they already, particular ones already signed on, or is that just a wannabe?
I know they have one particular restaurant that they are in very final discussions with. They have another identified that they've been speaking with, and so far as they have created a plan for the site.
But those aren't your anchors, though. Your anchor's probably
There are two potential anchors. I think one of the anchors is not a traditional anchor that you would think, but it's one that has the ability to attract other tenants.
Okay. All right. Do you need I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
So as I understand it from your side, this doesn't appear on our balance sheet at all, and we have no liability whatsoever.
Yeah, it won't even show, you don't even have to report it, because the city will have to report it on its financial statements, because it will be the issuer. All you're doing is participating and agreeing to
Kind of a stamp of approval.
That's right. You're basically a party to the pilot agreement. You're not a party to the other bond documents.
Okay. If things traveled as they normally do on a project like this, what kind of timeline would you guess?
I would say that the full build out is probably somewhere between 2 and 3 years from kind of getting this done. That would be my ballpark.
We probably will not close on the bonds really until all the financing's in place and they're ready to close. Because normally what happens, you get the preliminary things in place, the inducement resolution's been issued by the city, the pilot agreement's negotiated, the approval of the state local debt officers in place, and then the developer then can move forward, get his financing in place, and then once that financing's in place, when the project's ready to start construction, that's when we normally close the bonds.
So just one general question, what's the downside?
I don't
I don't see
don't-
why.
I don't see it.
Economic development.
The only real downside in a sense is that you're technically giving up. You could argue that if you did nothing, the site might develop at some point without incentives, but it's been there for a long time. So I don't see a downside, but.
I don't either. Plus, we have an idea of what's going in there.
That is correct.
If it didn't, then we don't know. Do you get credit for this?
Don't take it.
Great
job,
I've been aware of
Good job.
it, but we've done this kind of thing at the city many, many times when I was on the commission.
We'll score it up for you.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Judge Hunt to sign the agreement in lieu of taxes on
Second.
behalf of the Boyle County Fiscal Court.
Okay, Magistrate Gay made the motion as presented and seconded by Magistrate Ellis. Is there any further discussion or questions you have with these gentlemen? Then I think they've painted a very clear picture of what's before us, and I see this as like you just heard. I see this as a win-win-win for everybody. And
I hope it's a good restaurant.
Or two.
Fast food.
Okay, it sounds like we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll keep
Thank
you
you.
informed.
Thank you. On this, there's a typo in my name.
I corrected that
No, you
already.
sent me, I got that in the email.
That's one of the corrections.
Okay,
So-
all right.
Thank you.
Casey, again, if you could send that to Julie, that'd be appreciated.
I will.
Thank you.
I think Casey did. I had it.
Hold on, let me check the room back before I get yelled at. Do I have to check that? That's probably whatever.
Say, I've got all these files probably 10 times over.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, appreciate you being here. Next, we have our distinguished jailer, Brian Wofford, who's got some good news for the court.
Good morning. Before I get started, I do want to give you an update on our numbers. I know you all have asked me to kind of keep you all up on those. So as of this morning, Boyle is 42, Department of Corrections 94, Mercer's 31. I'm holding 5 for other counties, so it puts us about 172 total. And then I'm still down about 9 staff members. We're still having a hard time retaining people. So that's some of the things we're dealing with. And then the good news is I'm here to present you all with a $25,000 check from our Canteen Fund to go toward our medical expenses. So KRS allows me to do that because we provide the 24/7 coverage. So this will kind of offset a little bit of what fiscal court spends on medical care for the inmates.
All right,
Do
great.
we know what we spend over time for?
We're going to have a better idea this year. Before, we just had the contract, here's what it was, and they took care of everything. And we didn't get to see the billing, we didn't see what we were paying. Of course, there was a cost overpull as well. But with this, the billing kind of flows through us with Ephraim McDowell, the arrangement we have. So we can kind of monitor day by day on what
Be
it's
an
costing.
interesting number to follow. But things are better than you thought they would be number-wise at this point in time, from where you thought a year ago, maybe. Isn't it a whole lot better?
Yes, as far as our inmate population, is that what, or the?
Inmate population.
Yes. We probably remain about 170 to 175. We'll get up to
It's a great
178,
place to be right
183. You know, and I think, you know, if you're in jail right now, you probably need to be in jail. But the great thing about it is, I think the biggest part of why our numbers are down because, you know, our county attorneys and our judges are working to get people into treatment. So it stops that revolving door of them going out and coming right back. You know, it still may take some of them a few times, but we're seeing a lot of success in our community with all our other partners, with Shepherd's House and everything that's going on. So
Are we still looking at potential home incarceration?
we are. We're going to have a meeting 10 o'clock in Mercer County on Friday, and I think should be picking the company we're going to go with.
We're going to be discussing several bid proposals.
So
back, I don't remember exactly the month it was, but we increased the starting pay and a lot of other things at the jail. You told us at that time, but that should help recruiting. Evidently it hadn't.
It has helped retain people because they're not leaving for higher jobs. It's just the new people that are applying. It's just hard to find somebody.
It's helping there to retain the current employees, but not trying to hire. Is that correct?
It's helped retain those that would leave because they have experience. They could go somewhere else like the North Point, which is paying $18 to $20 an hour. Plus they have the hazardous duty. And then you got to take into fact all the factories and other people that's paying, starting out at $15 an hour.
With bonuses.
With bonuses and different things for hiring them. But it's just trying to draw people in at 15. It's still difficult. We had a young lady that applied, we offered a position, and she backed out the last minute. That happened last week. It's just, but it's helped keep those that's been there for a year or two to get their, to stay because, they have a reason to stay.
But it helps with retirement too.
Yes.
What we did was, I think it was the right step, the right direction, and it was essential to being able to retain and recruit.
And
at least we're somewhat competitive compared to where we would have been.
And where I'm on the Kentucky Jailers Association board. I've talked with a lot of jailers different across the state, and they're all having to raise to retain and to recruit. And I know some other counties that's not too far away from us. They're starting out at $18 an hour just to get people to even be interested in applying. So that's something it's not finished. I think to me that was the first step. I would like the fiscal court to consider, when we sit down in December, look at what's left over in our budget, maybe do another increase for those lower, the newer people that's not making it, and increase our starting salary again, and maybe even at budget time. Because we're going to have to, with here, they don't have a hazardous duty retirement, and retirement's not like it is now. When I came in, 20 plus years ago, I'm on the tier 1. So I think it's tier 3 now, so it's gone less and less. So they don't have the same kind of benefit to stay like I do. So,
Brian, I know that the General Assembly gave us a slight increase, but with this incredible inflationary circumstance that we're in nationally right now, I'm sure that's been more than eaten up on the per diem that we get from Frankfurt. I hope your association will push hard. We now have a $2 billion surplus in the state government, and we need them to focus on critical areas like our per diem that we're getting for the jail, because we're always falling behind.
And that is one of our top priorities, is that per diem increase, because we still lose money if you take everything into account on what they increased us. That is top. We weren't satisfied with what we got the last time, but we weren't going to say no. We weren't going to turn it down because it's better than what we had. So, but that is still going to be an issue that as an association we're continuing to fight.
Appreciate your leadership on that board.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. See ya.
What's that total, Judge?
25,000.
Good luck.
25,000, good lick. All right, Mike, Roger, you're up.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today, asked the court to consider the remaining paramedic tuition for our paramedic students that are in class. There's about 10,000, I can't remember the number of it.
10,900.
10,900 left on their tuition. A few paid so they can finish class, and then we'll have them for at least 2 years and hopefully longer. Like I said in the past, when we invested in our own EMTs to become paramedics, they've stayed. So that stayed true up until now. So.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve made by Magistrate Cullen, and it was a photo finish on the second.
On further review. We can do age before view.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the loudest that I heard. That was Tom. So we'll say that he seconded the motion to approve.
As long as we get it through.
That's right. Is there any questions or comments about the motion to approve the tuition? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Judge. Just to update, last month in August, we made 553 runs, and I looked up in 21, and it was 537. So.
Keep going up. Says new trucks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike, would you say something this second about what you talked to us this morning in committee about our mechanic and how much?
Oh, yeah, please,
the-
please.
Yeah, we've been able to every day. I'm always work with Tommy about keeping trucks on the road, like for the standbys and different events that we have to do. A couple of weeks ago, in the Danville County game, they had a bowl. Danville had a bowl game, Boyle County had a bowl game. We had to cover both, so I said I have to have 5 trucks this weekend, Tommy. So we got to keep them on the road. So being able to work with him we've changed transmissions, alternators, water pumps, suspension parts,
brakes,
all kinds of brakes, oil changes and things like that. He's almost exclusively working for us right now.
Almost.
Because our fleet was I think it was just in such bad shape, but EC7 is being wrapped right now, so once we get that truck in service, we'll have 2 new trucks in service. That'll open him up to be able to do more preventive maintenance and things for other departments, but saving us a ton of money from parts markup. We were paying diesel mechanics $95 an hour, so we're saving a ton of money and getting a lot of work done. So he's been it's been a real good thing for us, so can't thank you all enough for that.
Duane and Angie said they're gonna block the gate there, if any more of your vehicles get in.
One more month, then we're gonna close the gate.
We're gonna close the gate, we're going in.
He's building a wall.
In the past, when I would come in, I'd have 2 or 3 trucks that are broke down, and we went 2 weekends without any breakdowns. So I think we're starting to see the light, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Knock on wood, brother.
That's right.
All right, Duane, you're up. You got a bunch for us here.
Well, of course, Mike is right. They had a lot of catching up to do, and then we've squeezed one in every now and then that we had to have repairs. We will face some repairs probably next month and November, especially getting ready for winter. But we're all doing very well, and so if we ever do get caught up, then we'd like to say we may be able to start doing some routine service work too. So, which is needed as well. I have actually I only have 3 things on the agenda. It says 4, but 2 of them are together. Have a new employee, Terry Peterson. He comes to us by way of, he currently lives here in Stringland and Danville. He comes to us by way of Florida and New York. So he's been north and south about as far as you can go, or close to it.
The pizza and seafood here are terrible. Sorry. I said the pizza and seafood here are terrible. Sorry.
This fills one of our positions. We've had 2 positions that have become vacant over due to retirement and due to somebody else moving to another job. So this is one of those positions. We're working on the second one. But anyway, if you have any questions you want to ask of Terry.
Terry, step up to the plate.
Welcome.
All right.
Welcome.
I'm kidding. We got good food here, but
Peterson.
Peterson.
Terry has extensive truck driving background and experience, which is been very helpful to us. He also has some farm background, farm equipment, which is also beneficial to us. So that will save us. He does have a Class A CDL, so that helps a whole lot, because this day and time, obtaining a CDL has become very, very difficult and very costly. And so that's one advantage.
My brother lives in Syracuse, 110 inches of snow. What do you expect to get here? A foot?
I've been here for almost 2 years, and I haven't seen anything compared to what we saw.
Yeah, you were in Syracuse.
Yes.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, welcome, Terry. Thank you.
You're joining a good group out there.
Yeah, yes you do. Yes you do.
Yeah, they're a good group out there. I like it there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The second item, the Bluegrass ad, I guess, was asked or given this task by DOT to update all of the county road lists for all the counties. And so we've been working on this for a few months and back and forth, and and communicating back and forth and trying to get everything straight. I'm not sure where the list came from that they were working, that Bluegrass Ave was working from, but there were several corrections that need to be made. Old roads on the list that shouldn't have been there, a couple of new roads that weren't there. So anyway, we finally got it corrected and got it correct. So what this amounts to is a resolution accepting this list that's attached as our official county road list,
Make a
list of
motion.
our county roads. And then that little short list are the corrections, roads that were removed from that list that he had. That were, half of them weren't even in our county. They were in adjacent county.
Second.
A motion to approve the county road list made by Magistrate Cohen, second by Magistrate Gay. Are there any questions or comments? You have the list before you and the distances. There being none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. This authorizes me to sign this resolution on behalf of the certification of this road list.
There is one road, actually two, they list on here. You remember when the connector was built from 34 around to 33, they created an entrance directly across from Lexington Road into the farm there. Well, that little short segment is a county road. And it's two different segments, and they have them named separately.
It's fenced and gated.
They just named us, no, not the section I'm talking about. It's fenced and gated to the right and to the left, but there's a little T there of roadway. At some point, we may want to name that, but right now, those folks I feel certain are addressed on Lexington Road and have a Lexington Road address. If we were to ever rename that little segment road, then their address would probably change. So it's not really I don't think it's a big issue, but it's just to make you aware of that on that list. And so it is on the list. It is, the length is listed, but it's just, there's no real official name to the road. Pretty little piece there. Okay. The only other item I had, our loader is in Lexington again for repairs. We had a transmission issue. They've already looked at that, and it was a very minor issue, and they've already corrected that. We also have the two main lift cylinders for that loader are both leaking and need to be replaced or at least repaired, but if not replaced. And the cost for that is going to run over $5,000. So I need to make you aware of that, because any kind of repair like that on a major piece of equipment is expensive. But if I want to, I guess, make you aware of that, and I guess get your approval to make the repair, because they're waiting on us to say go.
Is that an estimate, or is that a firm quote?
I do not have a firm quote, because the labor will be the part that will be transitional based on how long it takes them to get it. We could not get the cylinder, to help you out there, we could not get the cylinders off because we've used that loader so many years to load salt that the connections have just corroded so badly. They're probably going to end up having to cut them off and put new parts on them and put new cylinders on them. So there's some labor involved there that they can't really put a firm number to.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion to approve the repair cost on our big front end loader.
Right, and that's at Wilson Equipment.
At Wilson Equipment, made by Magistrate Short, second by Magistrate Sammons. Questions? Any other comments?
What's the time limit?
Well, I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him today and tell him that we're good to go, and it's in the shop now. So hopefully they'll get that.
They have it there.
Yes, and they've been working on it already. So they're actually working on it this time. So hopefully we can get it back in a couple weeks. So.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Hey, two quick questions on the roads back going to. On the list it says Kemper Lane. My understanding Kemper Lane is city.
All right, it's on that's on that last list of 4 or 5 roads. Did you see it?
Right here.
The very end.
Yeah, I see.
CR 1025.
Those were removed from our list.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Those 4.
Appendix B, I got it now.
Sorry, yes, those were removed from our list.
I was looking on there for Allen Springs Cross Pike. Was it on this list?
I hope so.
Did I miss it?
I hope so.
That's one that we desperately need to get taken care of.
It's on the second page, 1102. CR 1102 is the number.
we are missing a page. That's
I'm
why.
missing a page.
Yeah, that's why it's not on there.
We go from page 1 to page 2.
That's why you couldn't
Yeah.
find it.
That's you're not gonna find it.
They should be numbered, there's front and back on these pages. I hope we got front and back. We may want
No, we
to.
didn't.
We just got one side.
It's,
We got 1,
we
3,
got
and
1, 3, and
5.
1, 3, and 5.
I
Okay.
saw that ass.
Good explanation.
So we're missing 2 pages.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I didn't see any of my district's roads on there.
It's because you got the easy job. You got to do nothing.
No comment.
But we were up to date, we send, when we accept the
Get them
road,
to
we
send it.
send a copy of that to add so they can add that to our list. So our list was pretty well up to date. I only found one road that they did not have listed.
I think
on
this
our
is
list, so.
Phil's district, but they still have Inglewood as listed on like Google Maps and everything.
Or-
On that road that's right next to Stuart Powell,
Oh,
it's still listed as Inglewood, I think it is.
gotcha.
And it's Ingleside is what it's listed. It's listed as Ingleside Drive on every maps thing out there. I don't know how you get that fixed, but didn't they change it, or isn't it listed as a different street?
They need to submit that, to the Bluegrass ad, and probably even to, rural municipal aid. 'Cause I think they house or they oversee the mapping, or the road names.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
They've got a new gas station going out there, so.
What do you call it, Englewood?
Ingleside.
Ingleside.
That little road that runs right alongside Stuart Powell. Right to the, if you're looking at Stuart Powell, it's right to the left of Stuart Powell. It's called Ingleside, but the actual road name is different.
What does it tie into?
Nothing.
Just goes back to
Dead end back there.
But that's where they're building that new gas
That's where they're
station.
building that new gas station, right?
So,
East Knoblick, is that on the junction side?
No.
It's on the used to be side?
Part of it, I mean, we have both. We have an east Knoblick and a west Knoblick.
Okay.
But then
East,
there's
okay,
also
it'd be
not.
on the Stewart, it'd be on where Shellmark is.
Okay, yes.
Be on that side.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to lose the strike, brother.
Oh.
They're getting stingy with people. All right,
All right,
do we need to vote?
Right. Yes,
Uh,
I thought you did.
we did.
Okay, good.
Did we not vote? Somebody,
I don't know.
Julie?
I thought
We did.
Nope, didn't vote yet?
We made the motion and everything, but never, I don't know.
I don't think we voted.
Okay, we didn't vote, so.
Doesn't hurt to vote
Glad you
again.
guys keep this straight.
Yeah,
You are.
yeah, because we moved on to talk about the loader after that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, we voted because then we talked about the loader after that. And then
I thought we did.
Yeah.
That's
And then
not-
and then I just mentioned to you about the 2 little segments that didn't have a name on them that we may have to name later.
2 out of 7 being correct, Judge. You're right.
I believe we
That's all I
voted.
have.
I believe we voted.
We did, move right along.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Somebody just want to keep me on my toes.
Thank you, Dwayne.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Looks like Miss Angie's up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Angela.
Let's see, what do I have first? The
You have
truck?
approved Alum Springs compactor repair.
All right, this is not going to be fun. Sorry this wasn't in your packet. This came up at the very last minute. But one of our compactors is down at Alum Springs. Of course, it's one of the older ones.
We got a new one out there, don't we?
We have one new one out there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Julie, you'll have to get the judges. I'm sorry. Ouch. I give the treasurer because you know that so that she can. So as you see, it's over almost $11,000 for the repair.
Dang.
It needs a new cylinder, which is the main component.
Yep.
It doesn't work well without that, does it?
It don't work at all.
We don't have no used
You know,
parts
well, a
anywhere.
new one is about 29,000-30,000. So
Make a motion, we.
I would like to have had a new one this year, but that didn't work out. So.
Just take one from.
And I don't even think it's that much even in the budget for repairs, so,
So we're looking at a third the cost of a new one.
yeah.
Make a motion to
Basically.
repair.
Tom just said take the one from Terrible. I heard it.
Well, now Alum Springs does have a new one, and Ghost Pike has one new one.
What is
Yeah.
that forklift of one is on label to use 1,400?
That's right. Just what it says. If they have to bring their forklift here to use
okay,
it
now
to
I
unload
understand.
something, yeah. But we have one of them, so we can avoid that cost.
Okay. All right, that's what I was thinking.
I'll second it.
All right, who made the motion? I'm sorry. Jamie Gay, Master Gay made the motion, and seconded by Magistrate Short to approve the repairs on the cylinder at Alum Springs.
Sure you don't want to just buy a new one?
We can talk about that later.
Talk about it next year.
Any other comments or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next, you have Waste Management 5-year plan.
All right, you have got all the 200 pages of the 5-year plan. Hopefully it's the last one I have to do. But we went to 30-day comment period, as you know, we proposed. I've been to all the cities, they've all approved it, and you all are the last ones.
Make a
Make a
motion.
motion.
Motion to approve Magistrate Gold, second for Magistrate Short.
That work.
He was just a little louder.
I had my caffeine.
Questions, comments?
Angie, I noticed this dates back, I believe, to 1988. Are there any changes within there, any significant changes?
No, the only changes that was actually made was the newer ordinance that we,
So this document that we went through.
yeah, you had our solid waste management plan, and then any ordinance that we've had,
Because I was
Danville,
looking to see if there
Junction
was
City,
anything that
Perryville,
didn't pop out.
yeah. I think Perryville basically has followed, and Junction City has followed basically what we do. Actually, and Junction City has went ahead and approved the last ordinance that we done due to the vehicles and buildings and stuff, so.
Thank you.
Judge, I was just thinking about Duane, I hate to go back, but what's the start date on that, man?
Now, Phil, it's my turn.
I know it was. I don't think we've got a start date.
He started 2 weeks ago.
Won't you take him on, let him work?
That's why I couldn't get him.
I don't need to be sitting there.
We'll be ready to go.
Now, Judge, you're going to have to stop.
I
It's
know.
my turn.
I'm sorry, I just happen to think we didn't get a start date.
When he spilled his coffee, he's a little.
Yeah,
I noticed
he's a
that.
little rattled right now.
To show your caffeine there, Jason.
It's all gone.
So do we need to vote and approve the 5-year plan? as
Well, you got the
presented?
resolution.
Resolution,
There's a resolution in there, packet is what I need approved.
okay.
Make a motion.
Make a motion to approve the resolution on the 5-year plan made by Magistrate Short and second by Magistrate Sammons.
Didn't I already approve that?
No?
I approved that. We already did that.
Yeah, we already had.
Well, I think the thing was
was
you approved the plan, but I need, it's not the plan as much as the resolution that I need passed.
Well, we've got that
Which is
previous
just the
motion
same
on the
thing,
floor
basically.
to act on.
Okay, so to approve the plan, then let's say approval of the plan is to approve the resolution, and that was made by Magistrate Cullen, and I think seconded by Magistrate Short. Okay, so
That'll work.
we're getting the record straight.
Trying to take away my emotions.
It's him spilling the coffee.
I'm gonna get emotional.
But anyway, does anybody have any questions or comments or discussions about the 5-year plan? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And
Thank you.
we are ignoring your comment about the last 5-year plan, so just.
I know I just spent a lot of time.
I've done 4 of them now, so in 5 years I'll be at the age to
She's
getting
We're
older.
gonna switch into 4-year
Getting
plan.
older.
It's a lot of work.
That's what Geneva tells me too, so.
Permission to advertise the truck bid.
I'm still looking for a truck, but I figured there may be more inventory now, so I may be lucky enough. I got a budget line item of $75,000, so I'm only asking to bid for just one, and hopefully it'll come within range where I can get 2 of them.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a new or used?
Either,
I'll make that
whatever price is
I'll
good.
second it.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay, motion to advertise for a truck bid for environmental services is made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Short. Is there any other questions or comments or discussions?
Didn't I see a new black truck out there on the recycling day? The gray-haired guy in it? Isn't that one of your new trucks?
No, sorry, it wasn't.
All right.
Tom said you could use this.
I think he was first in line that day too. I do like the idea that you mentioned, the possibility of a used truck, because I had good fortune with my previous truck, because I bought on a used truck that was 5 years old, an extended warranty, and I more than paid for it when the motherboard on my truck went out.
I don't have a problem with the used vehicle.
So I think that would be wise use of the taxpayer dollars if you're lucky enough to find a good one.
Yeah, I don't mind that a bit. On the other, so that's finished, correct?
Nope, we haven't voted yet.
Okay.
All those in favor? See, I got this one. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And I just got one more thing. We had 325 vehicles for our hazardous household waste event. We filled up a tractor trailer load and a half. I haven't got all the tonnage or poundage yet from EEI, but it was pretty successful again. And I got to watch the judge and Magistrate Kaywood and Magistrate Short work.
Yeah, I know.
What? Yeah, they worked.
Did you take pictures of it?
I
Yeah,
did.
they did.
I did. I did.
I had my whole
And I wouldn't let
shirt
Tom
on.
out of his vehicle. Tom was, he was contagious, so we wouldn't let him out. We
That's
let
right.
him go on.
I wasn't out.
I think
over it.
Phil was there. He just got there early and left early.
Yeah, that's what it was. He didn't work though.
My motto is never work when you get somebody else to do it.
But thank you.
All right, thank you.
But I got one question.
Sure.
Before you leave. The place over on Stewart's Lane, you know, that house burnt on the left.
Trailer.
The house
Yes,
burnt.
yes.
Okay, that trailer are we gonna be able to do anything with people living in that trailer? What's the,
Well, I've done my part. I don't know about people living in it.
yeah, there's people living in it,
I would think that might be a health department thing. I don't know, Chris. You'll have to, we have that in court, that place there. But as far as they're cleaning it up, and
But no-
Chris and Patrick's got it in court, but I don't know what about people living in it.
Also,
I don't.
yeah, I mean, it could be a health department thing if they're.
I would
still
believe that, that's
toilet
not
or
my
whatever,
authority.
I mean, that,
the trailer's not lived in because it ain't got a floor in it, but they've got a little bitty
Travel trailer.
travel trailer in behind it,
Yeah, they shouldn't be.
living in it, but it's been like that for what now? A year, 2
Yeah,
years?
well, we've got it in court as far as, the
So
cleanup.
we
They're
haven't
working
moved
on
forward with
cleaning
it
it up,
yet?
but
Is that what it is?
we've filed, yes, there's a court case going on, I don't know if this is one where we haven't got them served yet
Yes.
or not. It's a big, it's hard
Yeah,
to.
it's been repeated, right? They've been in court, and what the judge has graciously, and Patrick has worked with me, if they're not finished, they're recurring. We'll see you in 60 days. We'll see you back in 60 days. And, they graciously call me and say, is this ready to be released? And no, it's not been ready to be released. But I don't think I have the authority to whether you live there or not.
Does the person live
No, that's
in it
helpful.
own it?
No, they're renting it.
Yeah, we had the problem with that on Mox Creek where someone was living in that trailer.
Yep.
You
We can just,
So what
make
can
them
we-
clean it up
what
and
can
put
we
it
do
in
to
court.
get this
call
problem solved?
Brent Blevins and
It's
Call Brent and
it's
get him
within
to
the
go out.
court. I mean, he can do certain things, but he can't go out there and just
Really
kick
can't do
them
nothing
out.
until
I
the
mean,
court decides what to do with it, right?
but he could put like a health code violation on it.
True.
So
That could be added to the charge of why it's in court.
correct.
Angie, that brings to mind my Miners Branch, that burned out building.
In court.
Counselor?
I don't know which one you're talking about. So
It's just off 37, almost
I would get with
visible.
him.
Well, I think
I would give
Patrick
him
is
that.
pretty much,
On the
Chris,
left, which
Patrick's
used to be
pretty
on
much.
Patrick's
handles
handles. He's not doing criminal right now. So I would love to meet with you and we can talk about it. But as far as, we have lots of cases, so
Yeah.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
I don't think mine's made it to him yet, but I've got those 2 on Waterworks.
One time I was talking about, it used to be a grocery store that
Yeah.
did a good job down there. I remember several years ago. And,
It's been burned out almost 2 years now.
yeah, it's just been a mess since.
Yes.
Is that the one where somebody painted something on there and you did,
First building on the
did.
left when you turn on Miners Branch, across the bridge.
you had sent something out one time about somebody painting some obscenities on some building out.
That was a different one. That one was taken care of
We have
very
all
quickly.
kind of them, Chris.
I delivered the paint and the owner painted it, but that was a totally different one.
Just want to know that, Chris.
Okay.
Because these people call me.
Well, it's still in court, Ronnie. I'm
Okay,
still,
all right.
it's still in court.
What's the road?
Stewart's Lane.
Okay, yeah, I know that.
Right
See,
next
there
to
was
the
2
highway.
properties right there beside the guy owned both of them. And
I got you, I know. I'm
yeah,
familiar
you know,
with that.
one
I'm
of them
familiar.
burnt, the other one.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, I know. I figured you would.
All right. Thank you, Miss Angie.
Can we vote on that?
Appreciate you being here. Darlene, you're up.
See y'all.
Are you mowing at 34 and 300 now?
No, he's on my side still.
Talk to Angie, 34 and 300,
That's state.
but it's front yard.
Oh, I got you. We're trying to get there this week with you.
You're asking me to in your front yard?
Yeah. No, the grass is this high and it's hiding a broken down vehicle in the front yard.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, I only really have, one main thing. I needed to do a new line item, and it was for the sheriff's new vehicles that were approved in a previous meeting.
Make a motion we approve.
It gives it a general fund number for sheriff's new equipment vehicle line item.
Second.
Motion to approve made by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Gay.
Do you want us to approve them separately or together?
No, it's just this one.
Just
Just the one?
this one.
Just one.
Okay,
Just
perfect.
one line item.
All right.
I just have a question. Can you address the 65%? I think that was in there.
That's on here too, yeah.
Okay, let's vote this first.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Next.
Okay, and so for the end of August, I told you I would do a 65, 35% worksheet, so everybody kind of know where everything is. So this is as of August 31st, anything that was paid out, and it showed the percentages going across the bottom. I've got basically anything that's paid out and anything also that's encumbered. So right now, everybody is in a pretty decent spot. EMS is a little high, but that's mostly because of the ambulance that was purchased earlier. So, but that's really the only issue that I have on there. I don't have any problem with where anybody's sitting at right now on the scale.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
And then I also had a financial report in summary, just showing the revenue and expenses that had been brought in, that's updated as of August 31st. And that's in your packet also.
All right.
Anything else?
Is that it? All right. Well, let's go around. Let's see, this is the second of the month, so we will, I think the second of the month, we're supposed to do committee reports.
This is the first of the month.
This is the first of the month, okay. See how much I'm enjoying the day?
It feels like it's the second meeting of the month.
Do you want us to vote on that?
It's been a
Do what?
Do you want us to vote on that?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's the first or the second meeting of the month. So this is district report day, so we'll start around, go around the room.
I have none, sir.
None? Okay.
That's
short.
maybe.
There's Gay, none? There's Kaywood.
I'm real excited about this new development that's coming.
I am
That
too.
is significant.
I am too.
And I hope we all can support and follow it. Thank you, Terry.
I
give you credit. Any word on the drug settlement money coming? Anything there yet?
I think they tease us, they send us little thing, like, oh,
The,
here's a form, you're gonna be getting da-da-da, and then they don't show me the money.
Show me the money. There you go.
Money.
That's what counts.
Money.
the special meeting at City Hall with P&Z, and I haven't read the letter from this, but I suspect Julie has. Would you kind of give us a rundown of what it covers?
It looks like they have.
And an affirmative vote satisfy the letter's required acknowledgement. And I think that gives us to me, a fairly clear indication that they're willing to accept the request of the joint committee.
I hope you all read the email that I sent, because I got several inquiries about this. It's just amazing the deadlock that we were required to implement because statutes have to be filed. Willie Baker was the most eloquent in sending, and I think you saw that his email to me was attached. We've got to make this happen this week.
Absolutely.
Well,
Gotta get them back in business.
I think the court can see that we after the vote was taken down at City Hall, we got on it real quick. The letter was drafted. It was sent to them real quick. They responded very timely, and I'm hopeful. You know, there was a lot of discussion about the 45 days. I hope it's not 10 days. And we're bearing down on that potentially.
I was pleased that Jenny Holland wrote back to me and asked if she could share what I sent out with the remainder of the city commission, and I know she did that. So I hope that everybody is primed and ready, and that'll be a very short meeting.
One thing I do like about this letter, it says they acknowledge that county appointees have fulfilled their disclosure obligations to their appointing jurisdiction. So our people have done our part. So.
But it needed to be done.
But it's county and...
It had to be done. And that's the important thing, is that we didn't do it just to do it. We had to get in compliance, or else we're a crew. So I'm not sure everybody understood that part of it.
I don't believe that was real clear. But,
I think it's imperative before a new director comes in to make sure our house is in order before having somebody come in and inherit a mess or whatever that might be going on. There was questions that were raised by the community, and we had to address them. That's what this court does, and so we acted on it, and we wanted that set up for 45 days, no. But, you know, if you remember back when Steve talked before he left, you know, the month of July, he didn't have any deposits, you know. There was really not much going through his office or whatever, so, you know, where it could and possibly is impacting some business, but it's, you know, we're a little slower. I think most people are worried because, you know, markets are changing, interest rates are changing. They're trying to split stuff up prior to any increases. So I get it, but it's more important that we have this all in good working order. That way, someone else comes in and we can be the, you know, have the best planning and zoning possible.
Well, once we become aware of something we're out of compliance with, we have to move on.
Oh yeah,
we're obligated to.
Because then the question is, why didn't you guys
Why
do
didn't
anything
you
about
do
it?
it?
Yeah.
And how much are we liable? Are we liable? What is the level of our
You guys need to be aware and available for special call meeting, because I mean it's the city commission and us that have to lift this.
Can we see if we can meet after they meet tomorrow afternoon?
The thing that I'm concerned about tomorrow is that we have to respond to some of their questions so that they can get it on the schedule. So they have to give a 24-hour notice. So I've already texted Earl earlier this morning and pointed that out to them, that they need to have Stephen and Chris respond back to their questions so that they know that the action they're ready to take will be acceptable to us. So there's a little bit of a responsibility on our part to respond to Mr. Smith so that they can call the meeting.
Plus the public notice time frame.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
the 24-hour public notice time.
So Earl's response to me was that he had to call into Stephen. So I think Chris and Stephen need to talk.
I just came straight to this meeting.
Yeah.
So are we looking probably at Thursday
I don't know.
to clear the
I
next
don't know.
guys? So
If we
can
can
have
get an
quorum?
answer to them by 1 o'clock, then they could have a 1 o'clock meeting. If they,
we should stay on alert.
Yes, please.
Yeah, be on
call.
And Jamie, the meeting's inside this time.
All right, good.
I
I hope we get it as soon as we can and get this resolved and get it moving.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And if we do it by tomorrow or Thursday, that's 7 days or 8 days, not 45.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So,
I think 45 was so we don't have to come together every so often to
Right.
help save.
Just in case.
So anyway, that's all I have.
It's nice
I
that
just wanted,
Judge,
thought we needed some clarification.
the original letter, if anybody wants.
does anybody want the original letter that was sent?
No, I got it on digital.
Just to compare, if you do like that.
Okay.
Judge, can I make up on the next question?
You got an outline.
Okay.
Out of order. Can we get an out of order?
Okay, well, that, and, well, you've been talking all day, if you just give me part of your time, I'll be in good shape. John hadn't said a whole lot about courthouse security lately. I wonder if we're still giving that a lot of thought. I've had a couple of people ask me, why not have the security guards at the first door up on the second floor where they're needed? And instead of down here where all the people come in, and it'd be unlikely that a regular resident would come in armed. But before it's going on.
When they need them on second and third floor.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. The only entry point to the second and third, because there's a court on the second and a court on the third, is this level, where they all come in one place,
Well,
down on Fourth
this
Street.
person thought it'd be better to have it on.
You'd have to divide and have somebody on the second floor and somebody on the third floor.
Well,
Two metal
The
detectors.
second floor though can catch the third floor. Couldn't he?
No. No, you can go straight from first to third.
Got an elevator.
Plus, the chief judge, which is Judge Petrie, is the one that's
Yeah, I know.
in charge of the security.
They're the
of
ones that really spirited this thing and got it started, but he just said it takes so much time to get people through, and why not have it where it's really needed, probably. So, I told him about it.
You'd be surprised what people walk in, security, what they're carrying. We've got contraband and lots of things. So I mean, it's
Plus the county attorney's office is down on this level too, so.
Well,
that's
nobody's likely to even know where the county attorney's office is, so.
Bill, no more alibis.
sheriff's office is down. It's all. I mean,
The sheriff's office down here. We'll give you a tour of the building when you got a chance.
All right, I think it's Jason's time, John.
Apparently I used mine up, I don't know.
You used it already. Tom's used it.
Not to. Alright, I was gonna ask about the planning and zoning updates, I'm glad you did that. A couple little things. Run for the Arts, 5Ks this coming weekend. We also have Constitution Square Festival.
This weekend, yep.
Yep, and then on the 24th over at Wilderness Trail, you've got the charity chili cook-off. So, and then last but not least, is today's Simon's 9th birthday, and so.
All right, for Simon.
So
Happy birthday, Simon.
Happy
our
birthday,
littlest
Simon.
is getting big and getting to be more of a Cullen, so be careful.
no,
No,
I
I
go to
do
4-H camp.
Huh?
He's old enough to go to 4-H camp.
Oh, there you go. Hey, we loved camps this year. It was a vacation. So.
Okay. Terry, Kendall, I'm glad you're still here. We need to emphasize all the more the major events in western Boyle County. On the 8th of October, the 160th of commemoration of the Battle of Perryville, and there are already over 1,000 reenactors signed up. Booths are available. There will be a parade, food trucks, everything that you can imagine will be going on in Perryville on the 8th. So please, gentlemen, make sure that gets out to you. Equally important, the 51st celebration of the Portland Community Center opening is that next weekend. And again, there are folks who just don't have a comprehension of what's going on out there. That museum has become exceptional, both the inside museum in the community center and out in the long shed barn. Just amazing things that have been donated that people are unaware of. The night of the opening, there will be a bean soup and cornbread dinner, an original play, which they do every year, and this one's going to emphasize the Portland heritage. I mean, if we have a pioneer section of our community, it is Portland. We have 8-generation families out there.
What's the date on it, Tom?
The 8th and the 15th. The 15th for Portland. I was out hitting the bricks and the roads, back roads yesterday, and I won't mention the name of the family, although I think the woman who told me about it would be very open to it. But she talked about the heritage of her husband and his great-great-uncle and his great-great-uncle's brother, who were moonshiners up there. So I know that that's a shock to the whole community that we would ever have had moonshine. But she is literally trying to develop what she might have as an Airbnb, and have, if she could ever get it approved by the feds, a mock-up still on that property. And she would even like to see if we could pursue a state sign about that type of heritage that was in western Boyle County. And of course, it was probably in about 100 of the 120 counties.
That's like a tourism, bro.
Oh, I think it would be. Off the Bourbon Trail.
Do me a favor, Tom, and make sure that our county website has detailed information on attendance and times and the costs associated with both of those events at both the Portland and Parable, so we can have that on our website.
Much appreciated. Thank you,
Tom,
John.
is the bench up for 2 nights or only one?
It's one night.
One night.
Yeah.
Oh, only one?
Let me double check that, but I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. This has been a good and very productive court session today. I was recently made aware, and I mean recently, just a little while ago, made aware of something that I would like to discuss with the court, but I feel to the nature of the circumstance that we need to go into executive session regarding this information as it relates to a potential, Counselor, what's the term?
We asked to discuss potential or pending litigation.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, motion to
Go into executive
go into
session.
executive session, and made by Magistrate Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Ellis. We'll talk about it in executive session, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Bill? Huh? No. Yeah, what? Go? Yes, no?
Action.
Action, okay.
I make a motion, we come out of executive session.
Second. All right, we have a motion to come out of the executive session by Magistrate Gay, and I believe that was seconded by Magistrate Cullen. And not being a point of discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
No
unanimous.
action was taken during our meeting.
I'm getting ready to say that.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to say that. No motion, no action was taken during our executive session and the discussions that we had there. So if there is no, I believe there is no other business before this court, so I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make motion.
Okay, motion was made by Magistrate Cullen. Who seconded that?
Short.
Magistrate Short. All right, turn it away for just a moment.
I can't make motions.
I know.
He's gonna look at me like.
He wanted to know if you had anything to say. He skipped you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Stand in adjournment. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.